Listen, there are moments in crypto where you can feel the tension building, where you know the next move could change absolutely everything. And right now, we're in one of those moments. The charts aren't just whispering, they're freaking screaming. Blackrock, their next big play is sitting right in front of our faces. And Washington? Well, Washington's finally starting to push back on the regulators who's been choking this industry for years. Now, if you've been an XRP for a while, you know this isn't random. This is exactly the setup we've been waiting for. The pieces are lining up. Market structure, institutional adoption, political pressure. It is all starting to come together. By the end of this video, you're going to see why the next few months could be some of the most explosive in crypto history, and why the people who aren't paying attention, well, they're going to be blindsided. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to the Bullwinkle Blueprint. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're coming back for some more of that good info, hit that thumbs up. The thumbs up is the most important thing that you can freaking do. It tells YouTube that this video is great. Rip is the man, and we need to tell everyone else in YouTube land to send this video to the freaking moon. It's free. It takes you 2 seconds. Thank you. You could have just done it. Let's get into this thing. Bitcoin looking oh so beautiful. Remember, 123K is that breakout number on Bitcoin. We got 2 breakout targets. There's no point of talking about the low breakout target because we need to get above to the top one, which is 123. 123 breaks, 130 to 140 is the next target. It's going to fly, and it is happening this month. Currently coming in at 118,648 Ethereum. Another one. This thing's about to rip. 7 to 8K. Coming in at 4,189,000 in XRP. Yeah, buddy. Well, not really a yeah, buddy, but hey, $3.18. Look, we're going to get into the chart right after this. We'll talk about where XRP goes next, what we are looking for. We are still battling, trying to get back to that $4 trillion area. Now, eGrad Crypto put this out, and he's right. Does anyone else find it interesting that Brad Garlinghouse hasn't commented on Ripple versus SEC lawsuit coming to an end? David Schwartz, he says nothing. Stuart Alderati, what is going on with this? And then he puts his charts out here. So you know what it's saying, right? The charts don't lie. Yeah, well, this one's basically shouting at us. It is right in our face, and it is screaming. Here's eGrad's chart. We'll pull it up for you on the screen for everyone getting a nice little visual. I'm staring at a setup that's just begging for a breakout here. You can see it right here. We're talking about a potential, according to eGrad, 777% move from here. He said, no, it's not hopium. This is literally what this structure suggests is about to happen. So here's why this matters. This isn't just price action in a vacuum. It's price action at a time where fundamentals and sentiment are finally pointing in the same direction. You got Brad Garlinghouse staying very quiet, which is super freaking rare after this amazing moment of this lawsuit finally being dropped after 5 years. Joel Katz keeping his head down. But then you got Stuart Alderati dropping little legal breadcrumbs. Trust me, that's not random. That's calculated. And when legal silence meets technical breakout territory, historically, guess what? It's a recipe for chaos. The good kind of chaos. A 777 pump. 7.77 pump isn't fantasy when you consider the levels XRP has run to in the past. We're not talking about some microcap here. XRP has history. It's run from pennies to dollars before. And when momentum flips bullish at scale, guess what? It's gonna move fast. So the takeaway here, this is when you stay steady, you stay strong, and you stay positioned. Because charts like this play out, they don't send you a reminder first in an email. They just rip to the upside. And meanwhile, here's your XRP chart. We have our support levels chilling from 310 to 317. And if we go deeper, they go from about $2.95 to $3. Those are the 2 key areas of interest I am looking for. If we do test, you can see the 50-day moving average. We would love to stay above that, which is 314. So far, it's doing it. I'm going to tell you from what I have seen in the past, this chart is ready to break back out. We had a nice accumulation. We had sitting above our moving average, which is a very bullish sign. Looks like we just tried to retest and we almost tapped that moving average. And now it is almost time to send this thing back to the upside. Our area of interest is 335 to 342. When that gets broken, we're looking at 366. That is the key breakout number. 366 gets broken, this thing's going to rip, and we're going to settle somewhere at first in that $4 to $6 region. Now, I put out this video yesterday. Stay with me on this. This is important. Blackrock, okay? They came out and supposedly someone wrote an article on the block stating that BlackRock said that they were not interested in creating an XRP or Solana ETF, that the only ETFs that they were going to make were going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, sounds kind of strange and kind of fishy, doesn't it? Because why would BlackRock pretty much signal that they believe the only two assets out there of importance are Bitcoin and Ethereum when we all know that's not the case? I mean, BlackRock is going to Ripple Swell event. Well, it comes out to be that good old the block, they were lying. So while the chart is lining up, there's a whole nother narrative in play that could pour gasoline on it. Let's talk about the ETF drama, which is the BlackRock drama unfolding because the scummy, the block, you ever notice all these crypto websites or influencers or higher up people, connected people in the crypto space that ever interview anyone from Ripple, especially Brad Garlinghouse, they always come back out to make up FUD and narratives against XRP. So the block ran with a story that turned out to be complete garbage. It was either made up entirely or twisted beyond recognition. They tried to downplay the idea of a BlackRock XRP ETF. But here's the truth. BlackRock is actively discussing both an XRP and Solana ETF. There's no confirmed filing date, but guess what? The deadline is October. And anyone who's been watching BlackRock knows they don't just throw darts at a wall. They go after assets that have legal clarity, adoption, and profit potential. XRP checks off every one of those boxes. Legal clarity from the court rulings, real-world adoption and global payments, and a market that's been suppressed for years. And let's be real, BlackRock doesn't do charity. They love money. And you don't need a conspiracy theory to see why they go after an asset with a locked-in legal green light and an actual use case that solves a $1 trillion, decade-old problem. So what does this mean for me and you? Well, it means don't let fake news scare you out of your position. In fact, when a narrative gets attacked this hard, it's usually because someone wants in cheaper, because someone knows that something's about to go down, folks. Think about that. And while Wall Street circles XRP, guess what? Washington is finally taking down some of its own. Here's an interview. I'm not going to play it for you for the sake of the time. You can go listen to it. It's on the Banking GOP's Twitter page, but let's talk about it. Chairman Tim Scott just went at the throat of the regulators who have been abusing reputational risk to debank Americans. Now that phase, reputational risk, has been a weapon for years. Regulators have have used it as a blanket excuse to cut off accounts, freeze businesses, and quietly shut down industries that they don't like. And guess what? Crypto has been one of their favorite targets. Go figure. What Tim Scott's doing here matters because it's a sign that lawmakers are finally publicly calling out the overreach. That's huge for an industry that's been battling it for shadows for over a decade. And here's why this connection goes all the way back to XRP. Regulatory overreach is the single biggest thing holding back adoption in the US. You fix that, you remove the handshake, guess what? The floodgates open. If the political tide turns even just a little bit here, it means less fear for institutions, faster approvals for products like ETFs, and more capital flowing in. So here's where we're at. We got a chart that's flashing a once-in-a-year setup. We've got BlackRock circling with the kind of firepower that could rewrite XRP's market cap in a matter of weeks. And we got political pushback against the very regulators who've been keeping the lid on this entire industry. Now, folks, this isn't just noise. This is the perfect storm. And if you're in the game right now, you're not just speculating. You're front running a shift that's going to look obvious in hindsight. When this plays out, people will say, well, of course XRP ripped. Look back at the setup. But the truth, most people won't see it until it already has happened. You do. Now act accordingly. And I'll catch all you a little bit later today. Enjoy your Sunday fun day. I'll be back.